Imagine waking before sunrise in the greatest empire on Earth. Outside your window, the streets of Persepolis are already beginning to stir. Bakers are lighting their ovens. Merchants are arranging baskets of fruit. Somewhere in the distance, a hammer strikes bronze. But here's the surprising part. You're not a queen, you're not a princess, you're just an ordinary woman. And by the end of today, you'll discover that women in ancient Persia had freedoms, careers, and opportunities that might completely change what you thought you knew about the ancient world. This entire city has been brought back to life using AI reconstructions based on archaeology, historical records, and surviving Persian art. Come with me. Let's spend one ordinary day in ancient Persia. Imagine waking before sunrise in the greatest empire on Earth. The first light of dawn slips across the limestone walls of Persepolis. Cool morning air drifts through an open window, carrying the scent of fresh bread and wood smoke from ovens already burning somewhere beyond the streets. Our guide for today is not a queen, not a noblewoman, not someone whose name appears in history books. She's simply a young Persian woman living an ordinary life around 500 BC, and that is exactly why her story matters. By the end of this journey, you'll discover what daily life really looked like inside the Achaemenid Empire, and why the lives of Persian women were far more complex than many people imagine today. Using archaeological evidence, surviving Persian artwork, and AI reconstructions, we're going to step back into a city that disappeared more than 2,000 years ago. She pulls a long linen dress over her shoulders before fastening a beautifully woven belt around her waist. Her colourful shawl protects her from the cool morning breeze, while simple jewellery catches the first rays of sunlight. Outside, the city is already waking. Servants carry water jars. Donkeys loaded with grain move slowly along the streets. Somewhere nearby, the rhythmic sound of a bronze hammer echoes through the quiet morning. She steps outside, and our day in ancient Persia begins. As the sun climbs above the Zagros Mountains, Persepolis transforms. The once quiet streets fill with voices from every corner of one of the largest empires the world had ever seen. Our guide joins the growing crowd. Merchants unroll colourful textiles imported from Babylon. Caravans arriving from distant provinces unload timber, spices, ivory, and precious stones. Different languages blend together in the marketplace, a reminder that this empire stretches from Egypt to India. The smell of warm barley bread mixes with roasted lamb, fresh herbs, and sweet dates stacked high inside woven baskets. Children weave between shoppers. Craftsmen shape silver jewellery with astonishing precision. Stone masons prepare blocks that will one day become part of the great palaces surrounding the city. It's easy to imagine Persepolis as nothing more than a ceremonial capital filled with kings and soldiers. But that's only part of the story. Behind every palace stood thousands of ordinary people whose work kept this city alive. And among them were women, not hidden away, not absent from public life, but buying, selling, weaving, managing households, and in many cases, working for wages recorded on clay tablets that still survive today. Those records are about to reveal something surprising. To work, our guide leaves the busiest streets behind and walks toward one of the workshops that help keep the empire running. Inside, the room is alive with quiet concentration. Some women spin wool into fine thread. Others weave colourful textiles that will travel hundreds of miles across the empire. Nearby, workers carefully record supplies on wet clay tablets before the sun hardens them into permanent records. This is one of the most surprising discoveries archaeologists have made about the Achaemenid Empire. Many of these tablets still survive today, and they reveal something remarkable. Women weren't invisible. Some received regular rations of grain and wine for their work. Some supervised teams of labourers. Others travelled between estates or workshops while carrying official responsibilities. These weren't legends. Their names pressed into clay more than 2,000 years ago. At the end of the morning, our guide receives her own payment, not a handful of silver coins. In many cases, workers in the Persian Empire were compensated with carefully measured rations of barley, wine, beer, or livestock, resources that fed entire households rather than simply filling a purse. To us, that may seem unusual, but in an economy where food was wealth, these payments represented security. Every measure recorded, Every delivery counted. Every worker mattered. As the work slows and the midday heat begins to settle over Persepolis, another part of daily life calls everyone away from their workshops. It's time to eat. The smell reaches you long before you see the meal. Fresh bread comes first. Beside it are bowls of dates, figs, herbs, soft cheese and thick yogurt. A pot of lentils slowly bubbles over glowing charcoal, while roasted lamb is prepared for families wealthy enough to afford it. For most people, meals were simple. But simple didn't mean empty. Barley and wheat formed the foundation of everyday life. Wine was common. Beer was also consumed, especially by workers who sometimes received it as part of their official rations. As neighbors gather beneath the shade of wooden roofs, conversations flow as easily as the drinks being poured. News arrives with merchants, stories arrive with travelers. Older family members pass down stories that have already been told for generations. Our guide laughs with friends before helping clear the dishes. Soon, the afternoon sun begins to soften. The busiest hours of work are over. Today, when most people think about ancient Persia, they picture mighty kings, endless armies, and magnificent palaces. Those things were certainly real, but they were never the whole story. Behind every stone column stood thousands of ordinary lives. Women who worked, families who shared meals, craftsmen, merchants, farmers, and builders whose names rarely appear in history books, yet whose daily lives kept one of the greatest empires in history alive. It became history because millions of ordinary days, lived by ordinary people, built something extraordinary together. For a few minutes, we've walked beside one of them. And maybe that's the closest any of us will ever come to knowing what it truly felt like to live here more than 2,500 years ago. If you enjoyed stepping back into the ancient world, let me know which city, civilization, or moment in history you'd like us to bring back to life next. Until then, thanks for walking through history with me.